In today's video, I'm gonna show you how I did my outdoor decorations for Halloween out of basic materials. I did a vampire and a cat. Hi, it's Val with more Halloween stuff. If you have been around, you know how much I love the 90s. Halloween in the 90s was so special, and one of my favorite things about it is that everyone used to have their own dummy in front of their house. It was so fun, and because of that, each house was unique. Today you can find props in stores. You buy a prop, you put it in front of your house, and that's it. And that's cool. I love animatronics, I love every Halloween decorations, but it's less unique, you know? You can see 3 times the same prop in a street now. So my goal with this video is to create my own prop to put in front of my house, my own dummy that feels the 90s. So I decided to make a vampire girl because I have this costume. It's my daughter's last year's costume. I love that costume. I think it's gonna be perfect for what I want to build. But I also wanted to create a little companion for my vampire, so I decided to also make a cat. For this project, I worked with cheap materials I found at the dollar store, like this foam head, this wig, and this cat decoration. The vampire. As I already told you, I have a Facebook account, and it's basically so I can have access to one group, a group of Halloween fanatics from Quebec. I saw a lot of people turning this foam head into something else, and I was wondering what can I do with it. With sandpaper, I tried to erase as much as I could the initial features of the face. I want to create my own face, so I don't need that. The first thing I wanted to do is create the ears. I love vampires with pointy ears, like in so many classics. I don't know why, I just think it's more creepy that way. So with aluminum foil, I shaped the ears of my vampire. I covered them with masking tape before applying celluclé. If you don't know, celluclé is an instinct paper mâché. I bought mine at Michael's. It's a dry powder that you mix with water. It's super easy to use. If you saw my spooky tree video, it's pretty much the same technique I'm using here. Before working on the face, I covered the whole back of the skull. As you can see, it has a lot of texture. Celluclé is made with paper and chunks of cardboard, so it's not smooth. Just to smooth it out a little bit, I sanded it. Since I was making a creature, I was not too bothered by this texture. But if you want to make a smooth skin, know that celluclé is not the right product for that. With a marker, I marked the features of my vampire. For the eyebrows, I was inspired by the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's so characteristic of those vampires. And I wanted the mouth to be open so we could see the teeth. With a cutter, I removed some foam to really shape it based on my drawing. To smooth my celluclé a little bit more, I dip my finger in the water. To make the teeth, I used a wooden stick with a really sharp tip. I noticed that the costume I wanted to use was showing a lot of skin under the chin, so I needed to fix that by extending the neck part. I glued pieces of pool noodle to create the shoulders, and I made sure not to block the hole in the center of the head because I will need that hole to hold my vampire in place in the future. I then simply added aluminum foil that I covered with masking tape and that I then covered with celluclé. This is masking tape. I was now ready to paint my vampire. I wanted to try to make my own dummy for a while, years, but each time I was short on time. Halloween was almost there and I was always like, it's okay, Val, next year you'll do it. And finally the year has come and I'm so excited about this project. You don't know this, but one of my dreams is to create a huge display for Halloween with a ton of characters made by me, with a team, with decor and furniture, something huge. And I feel this is a step in the right direction. If things are going well, I might do something else next year, so be prepared, it might become a thing on this channel. When I was done painting, I applied outdoor Mod Podge all over the head. This is going to protect it from rain and maybe snow. Who knows, in Quebec sometimes a little bit of snow falls just before Halloween. So this is the result. For the hair, I was about to use this wig as it is. Before sculpting the head, it was just fitting fine, but now that I added those pointy ears, it was not working well anymore. Look at all this excess in the back. After a lot of thinking, I came up with something completely different. First, I needed to cut the wig in different sections. I cut those sections very close to the seam so we don't see it. Then, one by one, I glued those sections to the skull to create a hairline. I decided to go with something crazy, something that would hide all that exposed skin. With a comb, section by section, I teased the hair. I used a lot of hairspray to do that, but it was working. When I was satisfied, I rolled the section on itself and fixed it with hot glue. I did that for all the hair. Then I glued spiders just to add an extra spook. And this is what it looks like. The hands. To make my character even more realistic, I decided to make the hands myself. If the skin tone of the face fits with the skin tone of the hands, it's gonna look way better. These are the hands of my 4-year-old daughter. I will use them to create the hands of my creature. Since I'm using a costume made for kids, I guess my vampire is a kid, so she needs small hands. Again, I'm using aluminum foil and masking tape to shape them. Once they were done, I used cardboard to create long nails. Off camera, I added the clay and sanded them. Then I painted them and I put the outdoor Mod Podge on them. To create the arms, I used pool noodles, and to know where to cut them, I referred to the costume I was using. To make sure the hands would fit in that hole, I enlarged it a little bit. After testing with the costume, I realized a portion of the pool noodle was showing. Not much, but enough to bother me. So I glued a large ribbon to mimic a long sleeve shirt. To embellish that fake sleeve, I added another type of ribbon. I then used a black marker just to hide that pink color. I was now ready to glue the hand to the pool noodle. I was done with the vampire. All I needed to do was assemble it. And this is what I used. A pole with 6 pieces of pool noodles wrapped together. When I put the costume on, the vampire was shaped like a square. To conquer that, I filled little sandwich bags with newspapers that I put all over the body, and it was so much better. The cat. For the cat, I used this decoration I bought at Dollarama a few years ago. I like its shape, so I thought it would be perfect. The first thing I did was to remove all its facial features, its nose, its eyes, and its ears. Then I wrapped it up with masking tape. At this point, it really looked like a mummy cat. I added aluminum foil with a glue gun to shape its new face. When I was happy with it, I covered it with masking tape. I'm doing that because celluclate doesn't stick well on aluminum. When the cat was all wrapped up, I was ready to put the celluclate. As I'm editing this video, my decorations are already outside since the 9th of October, and I'm super happy. Everything is holding up well, even under strong wind and rain. People are stopping by to take pictures, and it makes me so happy. My street is pretty much a Christmas street. Almost everybody decorates for Christmas. In fact, 3 houses still have their Christmas decorations on. But when it comes to Halloween, only my house is decorated. It makes me a little bit sad, but as every year, I'm keeping the spirit alive. To add more texture, I decided to add red fur all over the cat. I chose red to fit the color palette of my vampire. Then I covered it with outdoor Mod Podge again. And just saying, I was super surprised by this Mod Podge, by the way. It is super thick. Just applying it, you can feel your project will be protected. This is the finished look after a coat. It's very glossy and a little bit sticky. But I was not done yet. I still needed to add teeth to my cat. I used a piece of parchment paper to protect it, and with celluclate I shaped teeth. I let them dry on the parchment paper, and off camera I glued them to the cat. So this is how it looks. The vampire girl turned out way more creepier than I first expected. I love the look on her face and her red eyes. When it's pitch black outside under the red light, she is so spooky. I cannot show it to you because my camera is not good in the dark, but trust me. To hold the cat in place, I buried it in the ground. I wrapped the part that is in the dirt around aluminum just to protect it. Happy Halloween to you! Have fun, and I will see you soon with more Halloween stuff. Bye!